Alrighty folks, quick one for you. If you live for the outdoors, or you know you should be, my book, The Great and Powerful Outdoors, is the book you've been missing. It's raw, real, and built for people who want more than just the everyday routine. No fluff, just hard-earned lessons, real stories, and the kind of perspective you only get when you're out there. It's been out for over a year and it's still hitting just as hard. Go grab your copy right now on Amazon. Trust me, you'll feel it after the first few pages. All right, back to the show. Hey everybody, welcome to another Outdoor Stand podcast. It's been a hot minute since I've done one, and I appreciate everybody who's tuning in right now. Today I sit down and talk with Dr. Shawn Slade, an educator and integrative health and ecotherapy practitioner with a PhD in health and rehabilitation sciences and over 20 years of experience supporting individuals and organizations in achieving resilience, well-being, and purpose-driven living. We had a great conversation diving deep into the benefits of the outdoors, talking about his education background, his business called Elk and Horn, birch sap with bear shanks, and more. So, wherever you're listening, on the road, at home, or out doing your thing, settle in. This one you won't want to miss. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Outdoor Stand podcast.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, but yeah, you if you're good to go, we can
totally.
We can start this thing. And okay, well,
thanks for having me.
No problem at all. Yeah, joined today with me is Shawn, Dr. Shawn, I should say, and so thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I only pull out the doctor if we're going to talk about nature and health. If we're talking about hunting, just call me Shawn. I'm very much a student in that world still, for sure.
Oh man, aren't we all, eh? Yeah, you're the first doctor to come on the podcast, so I think that's a pretty big deal.
Thank you.
That's pretty awesome. And I can't recall when I first came across your page. I think it was probably just some sort of similarities. Found you, but yeah, you got some cool stuff going on, and you have a doctorate in ecology. Is that right?
No, I don't actually. So I'm in like the health science world. So I look at all things nature. Yeah, not through the ecology lens or like even like as a forester by any means, but yeah, through the health science lens. I've got a background in like fitness and health, so I've been a personal trainer. I was a personal trainer for a number of years, and then I totally like transitioned into the world of like more holistic health, natural health. And then that kind of led me, at least academically, towards one of my passions, which is the outdoors and nature and health. Fitness and health, like physical activity, it's been studied so much. It was kind of boring and seemed like a dead end as far as like, getting jobs to be, whether that's research grants or just a job as a professor. It's kind of, a very saturated field. So nature and health, it was like, wow, this is kind of interesting. And at the same time, something I've always been involved in somewhat. And then it's become more popular, like forest therapy, nature therapy. So I've kind of been, I guess, in this world as far as like, as an academic, I guess you could say, for like the last 6 years or so. So
wow, yeah, no, it's cool, and like I think that's definitely. I mean, the last few years, I've noticed like a big transition from people just wanting to get more connected to nature. Whether that just be going outside more, starting a garden in your backyard, getting some chickens, like. It seems like there's this growing trend of it, so it's very cool that you have like there's someone like yourself, especially in Ontario too, that you can get in contact with someone like you, learn more about their bodies, learn more about nature, and then just be more connected and healthier with your body and the outdoors. So it's a cool business that you got there too. Like it's very unique.
Yeah, no, this is all very new as far as like me entering into this realm as like you say as a business owner. So so this has been, I guess, officially about about 2 years, I guess, officially. This is year 3, you could say. And I've moved up from, so you mentioned I'm in Ontario, and I grew up in Canada's most southern town. So I was down in Kingsville, Ontario, is where I grew up. Lived in London, Ontario for a number of years. So I'm very much a southwestern Ontario guy, from like the 519 area code. But then always loving the Highlands, always loving the Canadian Shield. Obviously, everybody from southwestern Ontario, heads north when it comes to like, cottage season and whatnot. So I was very much that guy, always heading up here. And it wasn't until 2020 when I bought some land, and then 2021, kind of in the craziness of COVID and that, decided to build, which is a whole adventure and roller coaster, but building up in kind of the middle of nowhere. I'm still like in Eastern Ontario, so I'm not completely middle of nowhere, but it's just harder to get like materials and stuff and all that stuff. So anyways, just total different neck of the woods of Ontario that I'm in now. So I moved up here to start a business, right? So to work as a nature therapist, and just more so like an outdoor mentor and nature connection coach, right? And so, it's kind of a new world, in some regards. I mean, the world of like eco-psychology, which is kind of what I've studied. So think of like personal development, and instead of using like a therapist in a clinical setting, we're out in nature and we're, doing different exercises, different therapeutic techniques with nature. Sometimes it's just, classic psychology and psychotherapy that you can do, just doing motivational interviewing and coaching. But taking that outdoors, right? So, again, a new field. There's lots of different, like, I guess you could say, like, divisions or pieces of that pie. Everybody has a relationship with nature, I guess. So therefore, there's many different ways that you kind of use nature as therapy, right? So, I mentioned, absolutely. Forest therapy, but there's horticultural therapy, there's equine therapy, so therapy with horses, right? We all know dog therapy, right? So, I mean, all these things are, nature in a sense, right? So, it
just connects us back to our roots. Where do you find most of your clients and stuff? Where do you find most of them are coming from? Like the city area, or kind of they're up in the country and they're just looking to get even like dive deeper into nature?
Yeah, it's a great question. Where like I definitely have tailored most of like programs, anyways, mentorship programs and whatnot to people in cities, right? To give them an opportunity to get out of the city. It's funny because as soon as I came up here and made this place my house, I brought with it all my stressors, right? So now I need my own getaway again. But no, really, it's kind of tailored to anybody, really. We're all in this modern day, I think, craving for something a little deeper connection, right? Like you say, and that is in nature, right? We're not often challenged the same way we've evolved to be challenged by natural things. We kind of create things in our heads and we challenge ourselves and make up these to-do lists and all sorts of stuff that I'm sure we do have to do, but we make it a little more stressful for ourselves, right? So, So that's just it. Like, everybody can use this. And, for the most part, I'd say it is, folks from southwestern Ontario, I guess that's where, like, my network is, but Toronto, Ottawa, people getting out of the city for these weekend retreats. And at the same time, I have, programs available here for, like, the local community, or the cottagers that are in town in the summer, right? So, like, my forest therapy Fridays. And then I do a forest school program as well with youth. So like an after school forest school program, right? So that is, the local environment. And honestly, everybody really does need it. Like, we're all on screens this day in age, and it doesn't seem to matter what age you are, really. We're kind of bombarded with this like existential angst of, all the craziness of the world, right? So, so that said, I really do think it's for everybody. Nature is for everybody. We're all part of nature. So I say it is for everybody. And I definitely target or seem to have more appeal to those who are like, anywhere between 30 and say 55, and are dealing with burnout. That's kind of been my area of, it's how I kind of got into the nature therapy, experiencing burnout myself. So, I've kind of picked a niche in regards to, kind of the mental health aspects of, modern life, I guess you'd say, getting out in nature. And that's really, just being in nature is one of the best therapies for the kind of that modern like fatigue that we get from staring at screens and sitting indoors all day, right? So
there's nothing better than, I mean, I have a job inside as well, like where I just basically am looking at a computer screen every now and then, up and about, do my thing. But there's just nothing better than when I get home, for instance, and I open my car door and I just stand outside. And there's times where I just stand outside and I just look out and I see the trees and I just breathe the air, and it's like, it just feels great to just like, you're you're rooting yourself back, and like all your worries kind of go away. And that's so I love it too. And I'm originally from the big city, like Mississauga area.
Okay.
And we've had our family cottage close to my current house here for over 30 years. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so we decided to move up here, and I just like I don't see myself going back to the city, for instance, but it's just like what I get out of just being outdoors up here is so beneficial just for your soul. It's like the stress, like you said, just goes away.
Yeah.
And like, oh man, I just try to pull more people into this environment and just be like, guys, check this out. Just sit around a fire, for instance, and just like just chill. Like, it's the best.
I know it's so good. Now, how long have you been up in the neck of the woods that you are now? Then
since 2016, so 10 years.
Okay, yeah, so 10 years. Wow. Yeah, no, and so have you found that kind of like, I mean, you said that you've noticed that once you get up there, it's just there's that quietness, or there's like that ability to just like kind of unwind, I guess, right? Have you noticed that, like, I mean, I've noticed, I guess, ever since coming up here, it's like there's, less of like a kind of like a hurrying, less of like a noise, if you will. Like, it's like as soon as I go back to visit family and friends in the city again, like there's like this kind of like, I don't know, it's something that kind of, you just feel a buzz kind of about it. And it's like when I get back, I realize, wow, like, I mean, I'm fine with it. But I do notice my body kind of be like, wow, I'm jazzed up here from being in a city, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
I just awesome. Like I have like dosages almost where it's like, okay, I've had my city dose, went down to Toronto, saw a concert, or like, down to another city, saw some friends. It's almost as if like when I'm coming down highway, so I'm off Highway 11, and then you merge into like Barrie and then King City, and my head just is like, oh boy, and you see people zipping around, and you're like, oh my gosh, right? Here we go. Yeah, like the cities are great. The place, and they got like something special about it too. That's we need it, but that's not for me. And like as soon as you kind of hit this bend around Highway 11, and you're in like Gravenhurst, and you're like, okay, coast is clear.
Yes, exactly.
I'm in heaven.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I know, and it was just like in this last couple days here. It's I mean, it's been a long winter, and I mean, like there's benefits of living north in Ontario, or like more north than southwestern Ontario. And but I tell you, the winters are so long, and like it's finally just starting to get whereas like back home they're saying like, oh, we haven't even been able to cut the grass yet. I'm like, my grass isn't even growing yet. Like it's like the snow is like just melting, and it's like April 20th, I guess, right? So so there's that to get used to, which I love winter, but again, it tests you, right? And I think that's just it. Like you kind of have to find that nature, like that dosage, like you mentioned, that is right for you, because everybody has it. And so it's like, so I'm not knocking people that like the city parks, because again, like a nice city park can be a gorgeous thing too, and a very relaxing spot. So it's like there is levels of nature, like you mentioned, or dosages. And for me, it was, I just since moving up here, I guess, like I've kind of, like mentioned, brought stressors with it. So I still have to find time to like make myself get out there and get those, like, again, dosages of like my local nearby nature, and at the same time go a little deeper, like where I do like a little backcountry kind of hike, or a little camp or something like that, where it's just like a little bit deeper. Maybe there's no cell service and I can unplug, right? Because it's just like there's something out there for everybody, though, for sure.
How are the floods over at your neck of the woods? Are they bad?
Well, you know what, I'm luckily on I'm in Addington Highlands Township, and so luckily the Highlands, I'm very much on top of a hill, not at the bottom of a hill, and built my house in such a way that's like water's down there, so I'm good. But I mean, you mentioned Highway 11, and I've heard like Huntsville and Gravenhurst and all that's like underwater right now, right? Which is it's a whole thing. The thaw out this,
it's been bad. I have a river that goes through my property, and like usually every year it'll flood. So like you kind of get up into the field a little bit. The bridge goes underwater, and that's kind of expected. But this year kind of matches what the 2019 year, and it's just like constantly like it goes up really fast and washes away a bunch of my boards. My bridge is gone.
No way.
So like that's so like even to access like the back of my property, it's like that one bridge keeps it all intact, and that's gone. So I got some work to do there. But I drive through and see the rivers, and the rivers are going crazy. Yeah, I'm just north of Huntsville, so
You are
there's
okay. So you're
we're in
right
like
in the
that
thick of it.
area where it's
Yep.
crazy. Yeah,
Oh yeah. No, I mean
yep,
it's a kind
yeah,
of like emergency state. It seems.
it's pretty
So
wild.
you mentioned like access across this river. So is that like so where do you hunt a lot of crown land where you're at, or are you hunting private land? I was curious about that because I mean,
So
yeah,
mainly, yeah, mainly private on my area here, on my property. But over the last, oh man, handful of years, I've just really loved the idea. So I got a moose tag a few years back, and went all the way up to Hearst area. That was on Crown land, and
okay,
just like I guess like since living here, realizing okay, there is more animals out there, so they're just not necessarily in my place, and my place needs, I say, a good amount of development for deer habitat,
right,
and you know there's only so much you can do on your own land, and so
sure,
I just started to do some research on Crown land too, and the app iHunter really is a
right,
fantastic tool. I like it. Just
yep,
can show you private property, public property, trails.
yeah.
So
That's what
I've yeah,
I use
I
that
started
too.
to
I mean, I
go
think
and do
for an
that.
Ontario person, it's the best choice for sure. It's got better like public private boundaries and all that. It's not it's yeah top notch. So it's worth a nod for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I've been doing a mix of both. I'd say like a mix of
Cool.
crown, mix of my own property, just to change things up. Like I just found on my way to work, there's a little slice of public land I want to go check out. Maybe do some bear baiting out that way. Because the bears are tricky here. Like I've had, so I shot, my last bear I shot was 20. Oh my gosh, it was 2021. And we have lots of bears, but
Hmm.
it's not, over the last few years. It's very weird. It's like they'll come in, kind of hit the bait really quickly, and then they're gone. They don't really plop themselves down.
Yeah, yeah.
So
You
yeah,
know, it's so funny you say that because I mean, I've noticed the same thing here with bear baiting, and it's yeah, again. So I've done that here, and I've taken a few bears last year being the last one. But I mean, I guess having the land 2020, hunting in 2020 here, not getting anything. I think then 2021 it started, but we've taken basically 5 bears off the property. But I've noticed that too. I think after having a bait established, I always thought like it made it better for bigger and more bears coming in and getting comfy with it, but it's only seemed to like have them like kind of come in, hit it, and keep going, right? So I don't know if
yeah,
like, and again, I've never gone out and really baited on public land too much, but yeah, again, that's something totally new to me is getting out public land. Obviously, it's like not going through cornfields and stuff like that, where it's like I'm used to not getting lost. Where it's like you mentioned, having like a good app, a GPS in your pocket, because it's like yeah, I've loved it. It's been actually kind of been reflecting here. What's like one of the things I've loved about like relearning or learning something new since moving up here, and it's definitely how to like traverse and navigate through hill country. It's awesome, and then trying to figure out deer. It's just like a whole new thing. Which I again we're mentioning all these like stressors. I hear all like these things that are challenging in nature, and I think that's where like, or for, at least for me and a lot of the programs that I've created, that's like the benefit of nature in some ways. Nature kind of being like a training ground for real life. So it's like whether it is like dealing with weather, a nasty thaw, or it's trying to like navigate and find where the bears are, or how to kill a deer in hill country. It's like these challenges that we put ourselves in out there. They make us more resilient, or they can if we're entering into it with that intention or mindful kind of intent when we do it. And then when we're back in real life, like everything just gets a little bit easier. We're able to
yeah,
think a little clearer, right? So it's like, I think nature's often glorified living in it. It's like this romantic, it's awesome, it's beautiful, it's always like sunshine and lollipops. But like, I mean, seeing your content online, it's like, no, you're chopping wood, you're doing the chores, you're doing the things, right? So it's like, I think, yeah, it gets romanticized in this day and age, and rightfully so. It's much better than living in cities, at least it is for me. But it's
yeah.
like, yeah, sometimes gets over romanticized. It's still
It
challenging.
does.
That's where the benefit is too, right? So, yeah,
And that's exactly it. Like the like it's a lot of work. I mean, it's what you make out of it too. Like I mean, for a lot of money, I could probably get the furnace, get all the stuff, and like I'm actually burning a wood fire right now just because it's getting cold again tonight. It's like
yeah,
-10 tonight, and yeah, no, it's like though that hard work to go out, split your wood, stack it. It's like I mean, I would do that over and over again just because it is, yes, it is hard work, but you're outside, like you're
right,
giving back to the land in a way. And it's so much better, and you appreciate the heat so much better too when you get to like throw a log on the
that's
fire,
true.
just turn a
No,
dial.
that's yeah,
Yeah.
It's a double reward system too, because you're obviously getting the benefit of doing the activity, but then like when you are like heating the house, you're it's a little cozier. Or when you're eating the deer, it tastes just a little better, right? So it's like, again, the hardships. I always ask the question. It's like a joking question. Is this gonna make me younger or make me die earlier? It's just like, hauling water and chopping wood. It's like, that's like a CrossFit workout, I think. But at the end of the day, it's like when you're doing it daily, I think, it's just a matter of kind of having a positive outlook when you're doing it too, because it can be like a chore, right? So but there's alternatives that are like, the alternative is I guess being a little farther removed from whether heating sources or food, and it's like it's just more. There's more adventure.
Well, yeah, it's like how easy it is it to like just go to the grocery? I mean, Donnie Vince has said it's like how easy it is it to go to the grocery store, just buy a piece of meat. I guess there's nothing wrong with that, but for I think like-minded folks like yourself and me is like in the end, like the audience that we're trying to connect with and I guess influence is like, yes, that's easy. However, when you go out and do it and earn it yourself, there is that like self-gratification to be like, I did that. I did go out, I bust my ass, shot that deer. I did go out, split wood for 10 hours and I heated this house. Like, it does feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, it feels good. And then I think, and even too, it's like, it feels good one. So there's that like hedonic kind of instant pleasure, like gratification, as you say. But then there's that like eudaimonic well-being or eudaimonic wellness, which is kind of like giving you a sense of meaning and purpose. It's not as like maybe it's fun necessarily in the moment, but afterwards you look back and you're like, you know what? I'm glad I did it that way. Like this year I killed a button buck for my basically my antlers tag, or my only tag. I only got this deer, and I thought it was a doe, but it was dark and it was second last day of the season. Whatever came in was getting shot. And so anyways, so it's like, again, getting this, now I forget where I was going with the challenge, what I was saying exactly about challenge now. I kind of lost my train of thought when trying to justify my killing of a button buck. See, it throws me right off track. Yeah. I totally forget now where I was going with that. But no, I mean, I know we were chatting about challenge and that, but anyways, maybe to come back to me.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, my buddy and I, we've contemplated, going out and always getting the most mature deer or whatever. And like over the last few years, it's like, man, I do this for meat. I do this to live. Yeah. And so, if there is something legal that, yes. I mean, I have intentions of shooting a big mature buck. That's, I think, everyone's intention. But at the end of the day, I do this for meat, and my standards for meat is meat. It's like, I'm going to shoot something
I hear you. Now I'll jump back into that. And I remember what I was going to say is that, like, the hardships in nature almost form us more or give us more to our well-being in the long term, right? And that's what I was mentioning, that eudaimonic well-being. So it's that giving us a sense of meaning and purpose by doing kind of hard things. And so again, it's not always just like that, those gratification moments and getting the big bucks. Yeah, those are great moments for your like kind of instant boom. Like you get that dopamine hit. Yes, I did it. And it's a huge accomplishment, right? So it does have meaning too in the long run, right? But again, sometimes when you persevere through, like, again, sitting in a rainy, like Southwestern Ontario, like I remember sitting in rain at like December 29th, called it, and just like pouring rain, seeing 40 deer out in the cut cornfield, and you think any of them would get within like bow range by the end of legal. It's like, nope, I'm just sitting there getting rained on. Luckily I slip out and didn't mess it up completely. But it's like, again, it's like those hardships and those hard times, they do have their benefits too. So we can't, like, again, just kind of like always seek those like just like almost TV perfect kill the big buck, because and again, at the end of the day, I doing it for meat is my reason too. So it's just like there's benefit there. Right now I'm eating good protein, right? So there's so many different benefits, in different ways. And I've looked kind of at that more in the last like couple years since starting my hunting mentorship program, which is ran it last year for the first time, and kind of air quotes selling the course by saying like awareness is the real success. Like the awareness you gain of yourself and how you are in hard situations, the awareness you gain from just like sitting out in nature and using your senses and learning how to use your body like we've evolved with. like there's all this awareness that kind of comes with hunting, whether or not you punch a tag, right? So benefits are like multifold. And it's one of the best ways to connect with nature, right? You really get to know your land, know the seasons, know the animals in there. You conserve, and care for obviously what you're looking to harvest and that. So it's multi-layered.
How many people would you have taken out last year for the hunt program?
Yeah, so we had 3 guys come up here. So it was a group of 4 of us, which was nice because it was manageable as far as like, doing tree stands and all that. And one of the guys came up was a co-facilitator, a hunting mentor of mine, a good buddy of mine. And so he came up kind of as that mentor, co-mentor, excuse me. But at the same time, he's never hunted bear before, and that's what we were kind of after. So so I kind of returned the favor and, taught him what I've learned about hunting bear in the last, I guess, 7 years or so. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, like that's such a good, like bear hunting, when you obviously do bear, like it's so controlled, and it's such a great like way to show people animals. They're like get close to them, and then have opportunity as well. Like obviously if they come in, and they're more likely to kind of come in, you can get away with more movement and being a little louder and stuff than a deer, especially like up this area. But that's amazing. So like how many days were they?
Yeah, so I mean we did I think it was 5 days of hunting. We like threw some small game hunts in there because we just hunted for bear in the evening. It ended up kind of switching up. We actually didn't see any bears. I felt horrible. It's like the first bear hunt since I've been here where it's like didn't see even a bear.
Of course, so
that's how it works. Nothing on cameras like leading up to, and it's like here's like the first time where I was planning on doing something different. But again, like the whole week was, a different kind of entering into like a hunt camp that's a little bit more focused on like mindfulness and wellness, right? So in the mornings we're starting off with my ecoherence method. So it's basically breathing exercises and guided meditations or nature-based exercises. So kind of starting off with this nice way to kind of calm down and relax. And then kind of leading up to it, there's 4 months of leading up where we do monthly calls basically. And again, doing things like breathwork practices for, things like trigger panic, getting kind of control of your breath. So, buck fever becomes less of a problem. Yeah. And so, taking specific breathing exercises and tailoring it to like, somebody who's hunting, right? As well as different like meditations where you're trying to like, go invisible or like blend in with the tree. So again, just getting it on top of your breathing can control your state of mind. And that's the idea. Like obviously important stuff when you're ambush hunting or hunting in general, right? So we kind of led up to the week there together. And then, tracking was a big part of it as well. So kind of using like tracking as a mindfulness practice. So as like a meditation almost, right? Because like if you've tracked an animal before that's bleeding, you can obviously see that the blood and where they've walked tells a story. But like even just going up to like a hub scrape is what we did in the woods and be like, okay, imagine how many how many different tracks in and out of here do you see, right? And so you kind of have to enter this like quiet kind of aware state. And obviously like with practice comes, you get better at this. But it's cool to like just kind of let your brain do that. Because again, it's something that we've done for so long and we're often caught in that kind of like beta brain waves, driven, got to make decisions, got to be on time and all that stuff, right? And so that kind of fatigues these other areas of our brains that become online when we do something like forage or track something, right? So that's the program. It was awesome. It got a lot of good feedback. We weren't successful. We did get a turkey, got a fall turkey, and then we got a nice big old, I don't know if female squirrels are called sows, but we'll call her a good old sow squirrel. And we had a nice little we were going for grouse, but we ended up finding this squirrel. And there's not too many like black or gray squirrels up here, so at least compared to southwestern Ontario. So if you're that's like the biggest bummer of living up here really is the lack of like gray squirrels, which bothers me so much.
There's like far and few between. You like barely see them, and then when you do, it's like you're not even prepared for them.
I don't even really. I mean, I wouldn't even really hunt them up here, but we were together and we had this. We had this awesome crock pot feast of turkey and squirrel. So I mean, it was amazing. So we didn't get to do the processing, the kill kind of lesson because we obviously didn't. We took apart our turkey. So, but that was the week. So kind of we roll with the punches and look for different teaching opportunities throughout the week, right? So if we would have shot a big animal and got the opportunity to track that and process it, that would have just been it would have added to it for sure.
I think there's so many things I mean, yeah, that would have been amazing if you guys got something. And I think there's my buddies and I, we always say it too. It's like we just want to hang out. You know, there's something powerful about that when a group of people get together and they just go out for a common goal, or just like they just go and they endure the weather, the like whatever like the challenges at hand, and then you come back and you share stories like how was your day going? Like how would you guys see like around a fire or something? There's something even just powerful in that setting too.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I love that. Yeah.
oh I love it too. I mean, yeah, you mentioned chatting around a fire, and it's just it's real connection, right? And that's the stuff that we're craving. I think that's why it's like, I mean, it sounds kind of so simple when we sit here and talk about like, oh, I love it, but I think it's worth stressing and, like you said, kind of promoting in a way, right? Because people often have this sense of like, oh, I don't, a longing in their life, and until they hear conversations like this, just about like how amazing sitting around a fire is, people think like, what? Just sitting around a fire and like, sharing stories of what someone saw out while they were, out hunting or out hiking or camping or whatever. And it's just like, yeah, nature is like very, very awesome. And I used like awe, like to be in awe of something, right? Like it really does make you go, oh, wow. Like, and kind of like, yeah, if you let yourself, right? So,
Yeah. Like so many of, well, most of my stories consist of like I was outside hunting, or I was outside setting up a trail cam, and then get like check out this bull moose that I saw, and like you have a video of it, or even if you don't, it's like people are like, oh, what? Like, and so yeah, I have like you have those experiences, and that's what keeps pulling me back, because it's not necessarily the fish, the size of the fish or how many fish you catch, but it was the bald eagle that came ripping in and just flew right over your heads. It's like
right?
those moments too that. It's, I don't know, it's like just awesome. And
well, I think people that don't hunt just sometimes think that you're just out there killing everything, like it's just like a Terminator movie and you're just like shooting everything, right? But it's like, no, it's mostly just watching squirrels and blue jays, and maybe like hoping that a fisher doesn't come run up your tree, or like, you know what I mean, like something like that, right? And it really is like, that's kind of what makes up, like, at least for hunting anyways, like the real special stuff that most people don't see, because they're, whatever activity they're doing, they're very much like moving or being like human in the woods, where it's like when you're hunting, like you're trying to not be human, trying to not be there, right? And so it's like in that, like it's amazing watching things wake back, like the bush wake back up once you get in and kind of get to your spot. I mean, that's I mean, yeah, it's amazing. Like birders, I know birders kind of can get in, they experience that, where they'll head out and like, try to like let the forest or wherever get quiet again, so the birds come back out. But yeah, it's special when you can do that, for sure.
Yeah. And you mentioned like practicing breathing, like beforehand, before your hunt camp there. And I think like that's something that almost is underrated, is practicing of like the anticipation of a shot. Cause like you're always like talking to someone, you shoot your rifle beforehand, your bow beforehand, you practice like being accurate, but then you very seldom, you're like, hey, we're going to practice and take the time to like think about controlling your breathing and how that can actually dictate, whether you punch the trigger. And it's like, I never even thought about actually like practicing that until you mentioned it. And like that's a super important thing that probably a lot of people
I'll send you some drills, because I mean, yeah, like I know you're a bow guy in that, and I'll send you some drills that we were doing and planning on doing in that. And it's, again, a lot of stuff's like kind of based off Joel Turner's like work around like trigger panic and what have you. But like very much I'm kind of using my fitness background, so get moving, get running and that. But then again, using the breathing exercises and stuff, like things like your box breathing before a shot, or say you see a big buck coming in, you think you're going to get a shot, like instantly going into a box breathing pattern. So that's that. It's a breathing technique that you're basically, let's say, breathing in for 4 seconds, holding your breath for 4 seconds, breathing out for 4 seconds, holding your breath with an empty lung for 4 seconds, then back in, right? So it's been researched by Navy SEALs and whatnot, and it's a really good, we use it in the fire department. I'm a volunteer firefighter, and it's one of the methods that we're trained to do in case, you're, say, stuck in a building and you need to conserve air, you need to, slow down and think. It really helps, like, get that brain turned on. So again, there's so many different breathing exercises that you can do. I mean, even like some of the like CO2 tolerance stuff, right? So, made popular by like someone like Wim Hof, right? So You're doing like hyperventilation breathing, say 30 breaths in, or minute and a half of heavy, quick breathing, like you're running a sprint, and then breathing out all of your air at the end of that, and then holding your breath, right? And then what's going to happen? Your brain's going to kind of kick into that like fear, that amygdala in your brain's going to say, you need air, you got to breathe. And so it's like if you can get used to kind of quieting and calming that voice and saying, yes, I need to breathe, but I've got a few more minutes, right, or a few more seconds, or however long. And then you can kind of get used to quieting that voice, so just turning down, the knob. And that's what like Joel Turner talks about too, is like not just going automatic, right, and controlling that voice in your head, right. And he's done a lot of different podcasts and that, and I always like recommend his stuff because he always explains things differently, and he really is like I think a master at what he does. And I've never actually formally like done any of his workshops and that, and again I teach this stuff because I'm not good at it. Like I'm a quick to get hyper, excited kind of guy. So it's like I kind of fell into this because I've needed to in life, and it just so happens it transfers well into the deer woods, right? So
yeah, that's so important and crucial. Like, and those moments only happen so far and few between. If not, you could go years without something like that happening, and then that just like will progressively make that next opportunity, if you do see a deer or something like that, much more amplified. So like you really gotta like practice that, and that's gonna be something I'm gonna do, because like, even if I like get into an argument or something and get into a fight, just even a couple of deep breaths can really change just your mindset. You're controlling yourself, you're not letting your emotions take over your body, and it's amazing.
Important. Yeah, I mean it's an amazing, humans are amazing for just that we can control our breath, right? Like we're the only mammals that can do that, consciously control our breath, right? And our breath, our breathing pattern, our breathing rate, that influences our mental state, as you mentioned, right? So since we can actually consciously change our breath, we can actually change our mental state. So again, no other mammal can do that. So it's an amazing like tool to again practice like breathing fast. Watch what happens. You'll get into a state of like fight or flight. You'll feel like like a lion's chasing you or something like that. Whereas same thing if you slow your breath, right, or you slow your exhales specifically longer than your inhales, you're going to actually slow your heart rate down, right? And so we can, through our breath, we can create coherence between our head and our heart, and it actually makes us able to make decisions in a better state of mind, more clear. And again, it's all from just controlling our breath, right? And I mean, and when we're in nature, we actually kind of enter this same thing, this coherent state, right? So time in nature allows our heart rate variability to increase. So that's our body's, it's kind of like a measure of how our body responds to stress. And so spending time in nature, a lot of research has shown that yes, our heart rate variability improves when spending, X amount of time in nature. And so again, like being in nature, training for hunts in nature, or just training for life in nature, it can put us, it can help us kind of find a more equilibrium and balance with our nervous system, and again, make clear decisions, make better decisions, basically. So
I'm gonna have to start practicing my breath work, because I hope this Saturday I can get lucky and kill a bird.
Yes, exactly. No, I know. Yeah, no, that's a whole a whole different kind of anxiety is the turkey hunting, which really is for really we talk about deer hunting, but really the breathing exercises, as you come to think about it, it really probably has more applicability to a good turkey hunt, right? At least it does for me, anyway. So nothing makes my heart pound more than turkeys gobbling and like sneaking in on you or what have you, right? So.
Yeah, I look forward to hopefully hearing some. I've actually never shot a turkey. I've had a few encounters where I was very close, and there's one where my gun jammed up, and then I shot and missed, and then there's another time this is actually a few years ago. So I went out on my backfield here, and it was snowing like crazy, and I actually. I was well, okay. So the 25th is actually my birthday, so it's a great way to celebrate my birthday.
Nice. Happy birthday! Sweet, that's sweet.
Thank you. Yeah, so I was out. I was drinking the day before. Not a good idea. So I was a little bit hungover. So I slept in. I was still like a little foggy in the brain. And I went out and I was like, okay, I'm still just gonna go out. I'll make some calls. I never even like saw some birds back there, and I actually ended up hearing a gobble off in the distance. And I was like, oh shit, okay. Waited maybe 20 minutes, did another couple yelps, and he was right behind me. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
whoa, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it was snowing like insane. It was a snowstorm, and I actually was like stalking this bird through the bush, and I made a stupid decision. I drew back, and I was pretty close enough to not actually range him, and I should have, because I ended up shooting low with my bow, and that was just a stupid mistake. But I actually got like pretty close. I'd say I was like 25 yards, 30 yards maybe. But
Yes.
yeah,
Oh, it's the best. It sounds like a turkey story. And I mean, yeah, like there's no other animal you get to like sneak up on. Like it's almost like sounds like elk hunting, you know. And the fact that you're even hunting them with your bow sounds sounds super challenging for one, but yeah, again, I'll pull out my shotgun with these guys. I have no problem. That said, this year I wouldn't mind trying with a bow from a blind here, because it kind of gets a little I won't say easy at my place here. I have a lot of turkeys and just the right setup for it, and yeah, I've been able to call them in at least the last few years. But I am thinking about perhaps bringing the bow out, and then at the same time heading out to Crown Land, because I know where some birds are at, and I think it'd just be fun to switch it up there. Because I mean that's a great turkey story though, and yeah, they have an ability to definitely just get your heart thumping right out of your chest, even if you know when they're coming right at you, and that like even just hearing them gobble, it like rumbles your chest. It just goes right through you, right? So it's like
there's something about that sound, and like so since then I have switched more to like taking out my shotgun, just because I was like, man, I need to make sure. I just because I want to get that first bird under my belt, and I don't have that many encounters. Like the last year, I had a few good encounters. Just trying to work some birds, that stuff. Like I had some permission off actually a close farm field. I had permission on, and this gobbler was just on the hens though. It never left, and it was a little bit later in the season. But then so I'm taking the shotgun this year, patterned it. I feel confident, and I just gotta get some birds. There's a few on my place here, but I think we're gonna go maybe like an hour south in that like Bracebridge area, Port Sydney area.
Yeah, I was curious if there was many birds up there, because again, like where I'm at is actually, and I don't know if it's the same for where you're at, but like part of the zone where wild turkeys weren't actually native where I'm at, and now they've gone up and taken root, obviously, but like so they're plentiful. We have like not too many not ag fields, but we have some cattle farmers in the area on my street and that. So they've kind of got like the perfect habitat. And yeah, I've had similar stories where guns jam with turkeys or all sorts of weird things. I've had even like the bead of my like turkey barrel, like I've got like it's not the best setup, but it's basically my sights have like they can move. It's really weird. So I shot at a bird a few years ago and noticed that like my sights were off and missed, and then I managed to still get the bird kind of just like by field, but there's so many like exciting stories with turkey, and I'm excited too.
Oh man, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait. This week is gonna be a long week at work, and which is fine. You gives you something to look forward to, and then bear season is rolling right into. So those things just keep me going, man. Even if if I'm not successful, or if I have one of those moments where you go and you shoot, you try to shoot something, you call something in and you miss. Even if that's still like I still get drawn back every year. It's like I just look forward to it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know, and I heard you mention bear, and I'm kind of sitting here, looking at my freezer, just having a button buck, as I mentioned, and not much else, kind of getting low on bear meat, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe there is a way to make bear happen, right? And like you mentioned, like having to work in that, and I'm in the same boat, right, where it's just like, it's not like maybe some years ago where I had the freedom to hunt more. Mm-hmm. Now with like a young son and family in that, it's like still again I still get called back every year. How like even just with like the antlerless tag draw opening up and moose tag applications are available. It's like starting to plan my year, and obviously like my wife's very supportive in that, and she loves eating this food as well, and it's part of like our life. So it's like yeah, I just, I'm planning my year around it, right? Like, what's this November looking like already, right? So, which is like, you take November as like, kind of like, for a lot of people, like kind of like a dull and dreary kind of like, like a cold November rain kind of month. And it's like, now it's like my ultimate favorite. Same thing with like, April. It's like spring never used to really be, a favorite season of mine, but now it's just like, yep, like spring turkeys. There's all these like, again, it just gets you coming back and building a relationship with nature, where it's like you see the beauty and the good things, and even like a cold November day, basically, right?
Well, that's why it goes back to just loving the outdoors. There's always something to look forward to. We had the ice fishing season, just had maple season, tapping trees, and then now you go into spring turkey, and then summer you got some fishing, but you got some prep for the fall. Then the fall comes, and then you kind of go into this cycle. But there's that's like the biggest draw for me is there's even in the muckiest of weather, we'd be like, oh, it's cold, it's winter. I'm like, man, yes, but I get to go ice fishing, and it's spring, there might be some bugs. Like, hey, man, I get to go hunt some bear. Like,
yeah, exactly, right.
Awesome.
No, I know. There's it's again the cycles of it just keeps it new, and it kind of like, I mean, everything in this day and age, it's so easy, and I think even in hunting industry can kind of get you into this like, what's new, what's next, and keep going, and kind of almost feels like part of the same old rat race that the hustle and bustle of every day. So it's like I do enjoy the cyclical nature of this that you're mentioning, but it's like, it is like almost, as you're saying it, it's like, hear myself as a reminder, like, to really enjoy it. Sometimes it's like when ramps are up and I still haven't filled my turkey tag, I can create stress in my head. Like, I need to go get ramps, I need to collect some of those. Or same thing with like sap. You just mentioned sap, where it's like, it's a lot of work for me to get to my trees and all this and that. But like, again, it's still something that's so worth. I boiled down some birch sap actually just this weekend, and I've never.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
I've done it once before, and then this is the second time that I've done it. The first time I definitely kind of like scorched it and burnt it, because it's real subtle, or at least in compared to maple sap, and boiling that down. There's less sugar content in birch sap, and it's a different type of sugar. Super full of minerals though, but at the end of the day, I kind of babied this batch here over the weekend, and it turned out. So it's a unique flavor. But again, like, it's just like it can seem like work, right? So that's why it's like biting off what you can chew, and not like, again, kind of just turning that into the same hustle and bustle as everything else. Like, I get like that with deer hunting sometime, where it's like, I haven't got my deer yet, and kind of glorifying like hunting hard, but like kind of making that add tension to it all, where it's just like, I want to. And again, I'm not perfect. It's definitely the way I kind of experienced it last year. That's kind of the way. Yeah, like I filmed a lot of hunts last year. I still have plans on putting them on YouTube. Editing's not my favorite thing. But anyways, and in that like whole like deer hunt, which I could probably make like a 2 or 3 part like, YouTube episode from it. It's like, I asked the questions like, is it worth it? Right? Is it worth it? All this like hard stuff. And it's just like, at the end of it, the answer is yes. Like, yes, it is worth it. But you're really looking for like silver linings sometimes. And it's not so obvious, but like at the end of the day, it's like, again, something that I come back to. So yes, it must be worth it. Sometimes it's like suffering and hard work, but it's like, again, it's still definitely worth it. There's still adventure, and it's by far worth it. So
and you said you have a young son, and I have a young toddler as well. Like, then when you're out there and you're spending all that time, because like if we were just living by ourselves, like we would probably be out there doing our thing. But then like your time just like gets like shrunken down because you have more responsibilities, and you want to do other things too. And it's like, that's all. And then when you're out there, you're like, man, I could have been doing this, or should I have been doing this? And you question yourself a little bit, and that can be challenging.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think that's why it's like setting your life up for this. If it's something you want to do, pursuing like, hunting as a way to connect with nature and just have more outdoor time because it's what you need to feel good, then it's just like, like you have to have like, a supportive wife for one, right? Or a supportive partner. But a job that, allows it, right? So it's like, it's taken me a long time to get to where I'm at, where it's just like, it does. It starts to become a little smoother. It starts to become part of my lifestyle, right? And that's like, knowing when the ramps are up and I've got my spot, knowing when the walleye are running in the spring, right? And where to get them. Like, it's like after a while, like there is like a lot of investment in time and money, right? Up off the hop, right? But it's like over time, it does, I believe it does starts to pay itself off. And that's the way I at least seek to do it, right? In a way that's sustainable. Yeah. Like you mentioned, like, putting meat on the table is a big reason for it. Of course, there's the fun and the thrill of it all, but like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, for me, it's like trying to make it sustainable. So trying, like, having years where I'm not going to spend money on whatever, arrows or this or that, like, and trying to do it. Like, of course, there's always something to spend your money on, or a new thing to learn. Like, I want to get my trapping license. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, yeah, so it's like, again, but just kind of taking it with ebbs and flows, I find it is a way, and not to, like, have to do it all right now. It's been helpful for me anyways.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cause like there's always, and that could be slight, not like a problem in a way, but it can be overwhelming. Cause like, there's some people that just like, I just want to, say for instance, like bow hunting. I just want to bow hunt elk. I just want to bow hunt deer, and that's all they can focus. Like that's all they focus on, and like put their time and energy. And I'm just a guy that's like, I just love the outdoors. So anything that just gets me out there, which is, yeah, it has like its pros and cons to that too, because it's one, there's like, I don't know, oh well, it's maple syrup season. Like, hey, let's go out and let's go do this hard work, and then all of a sudden switch. All right, now I'm out turkey hunting, and like that is really great. But then also on the other side of it too, yeah, it's like there's a lot of time and there's a lot of things that can pulls you away from, say, family time or work or anything like that too. So it's a battle. It's a battle.
Yeah, no, it can be, right? And that's just it. That's why I think it does take time. And once you look at it, like the whole, like, Rome wasn't built in a day kind of mentality around it all, again, it makes it more fun. And you realize, because again, it's like these times here, like really, like you mentioned, having a toddler, my son's in that age as well. And it's just like, pretty soon he's going to want to start doing some stuff, right? And so it's like, I kind of get this time in now and eventually trying to get him involved, because, I have friends in that, and they love the outdoors, but their kids are all getting into hockey or getting into baseball, and now they're doing that, and that's great. That's their purpose, and that's what they want to do. So that's just, again, a new season of life. And it doesn't mean they're going to maybe stop hunting altogether, but maybe it's going to just be different. Or when they come back, maybe there's going to be a kid in the blind with them or whatever. And so, again, it's just like kind of, I think, yeah, and for me, it's just like, again, like if my kid wanted to play hockey, sure, we can play hockey. He loves playing mini sticks already. It probably is going to be a thing. But like, it's like, can I get him to love gardening? Can I get him to love foraging with me, right? Like, and like, bringing him along from the beginning and trying to obviously make it a part of his life, just so, again, because I want to keep doing it, right? So as I I'm in my 40s now, so it's like this whole new decade upon me. I really want to, keep at it and figure out ways to do it, right? So, yeah, I think when there's a will, there's a way, and again, the payoff, it is worth it. Sure. You might back and forth in your head, is this worth it? But like, I really think it is for sure.
Yeah, I think it 100% is. And I don't know if you ever read the book, was it by Steve Rinella, Indoor Kids and Outside World, or
no?
Outdoor Kids and Inside World?
My nephews. Yeah,
it's
cool.
A great book, and it basically talks about like the challenges of, especially when you have multiple kids and everything, but even with the like one kid, it's a lot. But it's like, all right, the time and effort and energy just to bundle them up, to spend maybe 5 minutes outdoors, or to bundle them up. And before, you would spend 4 hours ice fishing or 4 hours hunting, but now it's like, well, there's this time of getting ready and everything. Now you might spend half an hour. Well, shit, is it really worth it to do it? And yeah, 100%. I think it is. Like, even now, my wife and I are pretty adamant on like right from the get-go. So we've taken our kid ice fishing already, and it's a lot. You're bringing a lot of stuff. You're packing for like, it seems like you're packing for weeks. You're going for a couple hours, and you're doing that time, and you're like, because and it's already, we can see something paying off where they want to go outside like all the time now, and they just want to walk around, and they just want to be involved and curious about stuff. So I think it's paying off.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's just, like you say, taking the time, bringing the stuff, and like I bought one of those little like backpacks last year to put the little guy in and still go on hikes, right? So, and that's what I teach like kids at forest school too. Is like right now you're young and they all like starting fires with their ferro rods, right? So, so it's like we talk about fire kits and building your fire kit, and then making sure you have all the cutting tools that you want to have, right? So it's like over time, you're slowly going to add to your, to your kit, your gear, and all that stuff, and it just makes it a little bit more easy, so that when you do want to go out, it's like, yeah, it might take 30 minutes getting the kids' stuff together, but it's all there. It's in the totes. It's washed from the last time, right? Like it's part of your life. It's part of the system. So it's like you can more easily go. It's not like someone who just like, I need to get out into nature, and it's like, they're stuck in the city. They don't have the gear. They don't have the access spots and all the things, and it becomes barriers to it, right? So again, that's kind of why it's like, again, doing what I'm doing, because in this day and age, like having like a nature connection coach or someone who can actually help you learn how to go out into the wilderness and be out there comfortable, be out there for a little bit longer, and stay longer so you can have a good time in nature, right? And reap some of the benefits. Like it's become a thing, I guess. People needing that.
Yeah, because again, sometimes with like even hunting, like coming into it, it's like a big barrier to entry, right? You're like, kind of, it can be overwhelming at points. So like totally. The fact that you provide a course on that, I mean, I've talked to, like, thankfully some of my friends that they had no hunting background. I've introduced them, and that's what's great about where I live, is like I have this land here, so it's very like, hey, come out, we can go for an hour, we can go out for 2 hours, like come out, you can kind of get a good lay of the land, see what it's about. But like that, and then they have built their own. It's like with kids almost. It's like you help them build confidence, and then they get to a point where they get now. The buddies that I've introduced hunting to, they're out going on their own crown land journey. They're out scouting. They're out, providing meat for the table. And it's this powerful
it's huge.
thing. Yeah,
it's a very powerful thing, right? And it's just like, that whole adage, give a man a fish, they'll eat for a day. Teach him how to fish, they'll eat for a lifetime. So it's really like a lifetime's worth of meals that you're providing for people, right? And then again, that connection piece as well. So it's hugely important, I think. And like, again, it doesn't just have to be hunting mentorship. It could just be like, getting out into nature and setting up a camp, or doing some car camping at some provincial parks. Like, there's so much in Ontario specifically that we have, access to. It doesn't matter if you're Toronto or not, right? You can be up in your neck of the woods in a couple hours, right? So, I mean, and obviously come the weekends of, in a few weeks from now, you're going to see the traffic up that Highway 11 doing just that, right? So, we're very blessed, and we've got to get out into nature more, really, because like, in this day and age, access it's not getting easier. There's all lots of stuff, like I'd say, in the world that I kind of look at as kind of like alarming. Like it happened last year in New Brunswick, where they tried to keep folks out of the forest because of forest fires, right? And it's like these kind of like, I would say, kind of like shady, oddly worded like bans or whatnot, or mandates, as they call them, right? They're not actually laws, but they're telling people to stay out of the woods and that. And it's just like, it's the last thing that is good for humans. Humans have always been on the landscape, in the landscape, and taking care of the landscape, right? And I mean, the whole thing around fire, I think, is like something to easily scare people out of the woods. But I mean, again, this is like why I teach what I teach, and teaching people how to light a fire. Again, not using that as a metaphor for, maybe it's like, how are you acting in your life? Are you lighting fires and letting them blaze in your life? And is that like burning down things that you love, right? So it's like, we're very irresponsible with fires. A lot of people have never even lit a fire. A lot of adults, right? A lot of men couldn't lit a fire if you told them to, right? So that's kind of why, I do the survival school mentorship as well. 'Cause it's just like learning how to light a fire in different seasons throughout the year. You can learn a lot about yourself, right? Like, how patient are you with yourself? What does that voice in your head say to yourself? Are you giving yourself positive affirmations, or are you just calling yourself a big dummy, right? And it's like, really like using these nature connection tools, or this, learning survival skills in this mindful way. It's a great benefit if you're willing to like look at it reflectively and say like, maybe I could slow down more, or I definitely swear when I get upset, and maybe I don't need to do that. Maybe I could save that energy, right? Because again, in a survival situation, getting all flustered over not lighting a fire, it's not helping your energy levels out. It's not helping your fire out, and all that stuff. So
wow, that's some great points. And so, because you sent me a syllabus, man, I looked back over it today, and it just like, I think every guy, like, I think it should be mandatory almost. It's like guys, like mainly guys, but I mean women too. I mean,
Yeah,
like it's like
yeah,
holy mo, just like the fact of getting together, talking about stuff. You call it fireside chats, and like even through through digital, because like in this day and age, like sometimes it's hard to get people together and everything, and it's like just the service that you're providing. But it's like that, even that, just like having the people come together,
right.
talking about
Yeah, it's a
stuff,
huge part of
what's
it's a
going
huge
on.
part of it. For
Yeah,
sure. I mean, that's just that building a network of people like minded, right? Like I've, found your content through Instagram. It's like, oh, sweet, someone local who's promoting hunting and getting outdoors and, living that lifestyle. And that it's cool to find somebody like that. And so that's just it. The idea here is, to bring people together, and to do just that, to create a community around, not only like, learning these outer survival skills like, fire, shelter, water and food, how to tie knots, how to set up camp and all that stuff. But like some of that inner survival stuff, right? So the mindset, the breathing exercises, having tools like that, being able to meditate and, find some calm even when it's crazy. That's kind of the idea about it, because again, like it's, everybody's craving a little more connection. And I mean, at the end of the day, living this seasonal life, it's benefited me in so many ways in my own life, and I've seen it benefit others. So it's just like, these are lost ways, or ways that we're losing.
yeah,
And
it's
again, it's like as we
scary.
move farther forward, as we move farther forward into this digital age, and algorithms feeding you stuff that keeps you in your echo chambers. And again, or someone telling you there's fires in the woods, you got to stay out of the woods. It's like, well, you won't know that that's not true unless you have a relationship with nature yourself, right? If you kind of know the ins and outs of how we've managed our forests, and how maybe even forest fires can be good for areas, like you start to
Yep.
call the bullshit when you see it in your own life, in your own relationships. But then, like, again, maybe the government's saying like, again, stay out of the woods. It's not healthy or not good to be in the woods. It's just like, well,
Yeah, you wonder
bullshit.
why, like why are they saying that stuff? Like it's just it's nonsense to even like I think say that. I don't know what their full reason was. I remember you posting about it, and it's just like I just thought it was the most ridiculous thing ever. And like the amount, like what it's
Yeah.
like 50, the fine was like $50,000 or
20,
something.
25,000 or something like
25,
that to go
25,
if
yeah.
you're
It's just like
caught walking in the woods, right? Yeah, no,
Jesus.
I mean, I'm not really big on the idea of like being handheld and controlled like that. I believe that we learn through mistakes and in our own free will, and having, again, kind of a God-given free will. So it's like learning about fire and learning how not to start fires when it's dry out in the woods, is a huge skill. And by just keeping people out of the woods, or like keeping people in their homes, it's like we're not actually giving ourselves the opportunity to make our minds stronger, to make our bodies stronger, whether we come in contact with, whatever types of bacteria and viruses and things that we're out and about. Like, again, just kind of, I'm not a big nanny state guy, and probably don't want to just open up a rabbit hole at this point. But no, I mean, it's kind of, something I've been on the lookout for. Call me a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, but I've kind of been left a trail of breadcrumbs throughout my like academic career, and kind of seeing these air quotes climate lockdowns, as they've been called, like as like this next phase of things. So again, I don't know why they're doing it. I just know that it's BS, and it's not good for anybody. And if I could use my you say doctor for anything, it'd be like just to access and having not taking people off the landscape. It's not healthy to have people off the landscape, and it's a common part of the rhetoric of like your average environmentalist, where it's like, living in a city, not understanding nature, thinking that if we step on a little plant, we're going to kill all plants, like, or if we kill one deer, we've killed all the deer. And it's just like, no, that's just not the case, right? And so that's why, again, I think promoting and advocating for more environmentally friendly behavior, more interaction in nature, it's a good thing, right? And again, by taking responsibility and caring about nature, the things that you love, you develop a really good relationship with it. And again, it's even down to the realm of like, say, climate change. Like, I've definitely noticed like different weather things are changing, right? Do I know that this means we need to carbon tax people? No, I definitely don't think it means we need to tax carbon. And again, not to rabbit hole ourselves here, but like, it's just like we should be concerned with habitat loss, something I've seen in where I grew up with deer hunting. We do need to be concerned with air pollution, with water pollution, loss of species diversity. All these things are real important problems to handle. And if we have a relationship with our local environment, we start to know what the issues are at hand, and then we can help out with that, right? So it doesn't have to be this like far off heady thing where we need to all be taxed because of whatever. We could all just kind of take part. And I think hunting's been an opportunity for me to really do just that, like take care of the land. You said the same thing. Like I don't have quite the deer property yet, but eventually I hope, I had some loggers come in to take a look at taking down some of the balsams and spruce, because when they harvested all the maples and hardwoods out of here, they just let them take off. And so now I've got a really unhealthy forest. And I think a lot of, again, those like armchair environmentalists might say like, don't cut down the trees, leave all the trees. Like, it's like, no, cutting down trees can be good. I can heat my home. Teach kids how to start fires. Like there's multiple benefits again.
Yeah, these guys like don't have. I mean, really, the hunters, the guys out fishing and stuff. Like we're the ones that are out putting the boots on the ground in the forest. There's so the whole like I think it's like a scare tactic for not going in the forest. When it's on fires and and I think it's like the COVID shot stuff. It's like instead of telling people going out, get some exercise, get some sun in your body, it's like here, take this shot, and you're like, oh, well, that's. Okay, it's like this fear thing that they like to implement here, but like, I think so. And being a steward of the land, like I like to call myself that, but I have this intention. It's like I don't like we said earlier, we don't just go out there and just blast something. It's like we think about stuff in a different way, in a more deep way than a lot of people who are animal activists or anyone who says they are environmentalists and stuff. And it's like we look at that deer more than just the deer itself. And then people who buy I moved from the city to bought this land to help build the habitat here and to help build populations here, so future generations can come in and like help sustain us. And it's like this really cool, important thing to me, at least, is like going out and learning more about my forest, learning more about the deer, the way that the land works, that the deer and not just deer, but animals, small game, everything, far and few between. There's a guy that I'm talking to. I've had him on the podcast before, Dennis from Whitetail Wise. He's this guy. He's in Ontario, and he has this company that's like basically he helps guys like myself build deer habitat on their property. He comes up, he assesses everything, and he's actually just launched this cool it's like a tracker part of his like being a client of his, and like you can go on, you can see the lay of the land, and you see like he has like different phases of the year. So here's year 1 to year 5, and it's like this is what he wants to do to help improve the squirrels, improve the turkeys, improve the deer. Like it's fascinating things, and those like we're the hunters that care about that stuff. Like
the few people that would actually spend the money to to do just that, right? And same thing with like my land here. It's like I'm on the managed forest tax incentive program just to reduce my property taxes, and at the same time have goals to basically manage my 28 acres of forest, right? So it's like again, like I had these loggers come by to look at the forest, and look, I mean I'm hoping that the job kind of pays for itself, because I don't have the money to go ahead and do this just to make habitat good. I will hopefully one day. Right now I just don't, right? But it's like, hunters are definitely the ones that are spending the money to conserve and do that. A lot of times on their private property, right? So,
it's a lot of time, a lot of money, it's the same thing. Like it's different. It's almost a whole season, but we kind of go back to that whole like bite off more than what you can chew sort of thing. But now would be the perfect time, or even like a few weeks ago, to go out in the forest and drop a bunch of trees. But then for me, it's like I want that, but then I wanted to go tap trees, so I tapped trees instead. And you're like, I'm out of time.
No, I know. No, it really does take some foresight, I think, when you're like a land steward, as you say, like someone who's managing and trying to make it better. It's just like, you don't want to lose your shirt in the process. But again, it's benefit for, when my son grows up, it'll be his or someone else. Like I want the maples to regrow back there from just the saplings. Same thing with the oaks, but like I probably won't benefit from killing a deer that's eaten their acorns, at least not anytime soon, anyways, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, still worth it, right? So it's like funny this keep coming back to this theme of still worth it at the end of the day, right?
Still worth it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you use the birch syrup for, I guess? Or like, do you boil it to the same temperature as maple syrup?
Yeah, like 219 Fahrenheit, I think was the finishing.
Okay.
Again, it's yeah. And what am I using it for? What's funny, I was gonna say this earlier, but we kept chatting. But so I can smell it. It's still in the oven. I have a bear shank that's like I was gonna smoke it, but I'm like didn't have time. I was gonna do it on the weekend, didn't do it. So, anyways, just put it into the oven today with like a little bit of broth and then some garlic and some aromatics. Threw some juniper berries in there. And just kind of and a little bit of like liquid smoke, and just kind of let this thing sit with a couple pieces of bacon in it for about 3-4 hours now. I was going to eat it before, but I didn't get time, so it's probably been in there for 5 hours now at like 300, so real slow and low, covered. And then and also this birch syrup as well. So my plan was to take a little of this the cooking liquid there at the end, and then kind of like put a little more birch sap into it. It's like real savory and like smoky. It's not like maple syrup if you haven't had it before. It's like 10 times the price of maple syrup too. It's cool. It's like really good on like fish. You make like a good fish jerky or like a good salmon jerky. It's almost like balsamic glaze in a way, or like molasses in a way. And so it's like kind of more like caramely, like burnt, rich caramely, I'd say. But anyways, putting this on this bear shank is going to be the idea. So yeah.
Oh, that sounds good. Sorry, not to cut you off.
No,
we have a little bit of a delay here. Is there white birch that you go after mainly, or is it like any sort of?
Any birch would work. I'm sure. And I mean, mainly I'm tapping trees just basically for drinking the sap. Like this year, I didn't even tap my maples or bother with doing it because again, I just knew I didn't have the time this year. Didn't want to stress, right? So I know people that make good syrup. I'll buy it from them, but I'll tap a couple trees just to drink some maple water. And then same thing with the birch. Like Nordic countries, they definitely would crush the birch water. They do it after their saunas. So I always call it like Canada's coconut water is the birch sap and the maple sap. It's basically like an electrolyte, right? So it's got
really
magnesium, potassium. Yeah, just drinking it straight from the tree. It's quite refreshing.
Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna tap some birch trees next year.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, it's cool with birch. They run after maple, so like they're running right now. Like they're literally just pouring up. Yeah, so you're like right in the right window. Go ahead and tap some, and you can still And the thing about you almost need bigger buckets for birch because they actually run way more than maple. Like you'll collect like twice the amount, but you also need twice the amount to burn it down, like to boil it down, right?
Okay,
like you'll hear like maple's like 40-1. I think birch is like 80-1 when it comes to like what you'll actually get at the end. So so you need some wood and some because I don't even have like a proper boiler or like pans or a good setup. So I got like half a liter of birch syrup now from everything I did, but. Yeah, it's like a delicacy, right? Like that's a taste of the wild. Put it on a bear shank like that. Like I'm a food guy at the end of the day, and sure, like I mentioned, coming into things from the health world, but I still like good food. So it's just like, bear shank with some birch syrup glaze reduction on it. It's gonna be
dude, that sounds amazing. Oh my god,
does sound good. Yeah, so I have a lot of fun.
Out, dude.
Yeah, I know. I should probably make up a little reel or something of me enjoying this one because it's going to be it's like one of the best doing like again you mentioned Steve Rinella. It's like one of my favorite books was A Scavenger's Guide to Haute Cuisine, so getting into like him like collecting like pigeon eggs and things like that, and stuff like that. I've always been into like foraging and wild food, so I like to every now and then, again, don't always have the time to make every meal like a bear shank with birch syrup glaze, but it's like it's gonna be a good one.
Dude, that's definitely the first I've heard of a bear shank with birch syrup glaze like that.
They go together, right? No, they do. I mean, if again to have like a restaurant, not to say it's like a good idea to do the market hunting and serving bear at a restaurant, but if you could you imagine that meal at a?
Oh my gosh, yeah, like that. That's something that you could present to anyone who didn't hunt. Like, just take this in right now. Oh, yeah. Like, what a story too. Fun. Like, you go and you kill, you get a bear, you go and you tap a tree, and you put the two together. It's like perfect harmony almost.
No, it all seemed to make sense in my head, right? So yeah, I'm excited. It might be lunch tomorrow now at this point, but who knows? I'll probably dabble and try a little bit of it here.
Yeah, you should. Definitely. That's awesome, man. Wow. So you're definitely going after turkey and some bear in
Yeah,
the
yes.
spring?
Well, yeah, not necessarily the bear. We'll see. I always get asked. I have two brothers who always seem to somehow twist my arm into like baiting for bear because they want to come up here and hunt bear, and it's just like baiting bear comes with an expense, right? My wife doesn't eat bear either, so it's like she'd much rather maybe even buy like some beef, which I like try to object to, but at the same time, it's like you're not always going to get a bear. So spending money on bait that you don't necessarily like. Again, not to say that's the only reason it'd be worth it without it, but again, sometimes it's just not in the cards. So I'm actually trying to finish the basement right now in our place because I've been building this house here for a few years now, but because part of what we're doing up here is to have a bed and breakfast as well, because I do like cooking. So to do like a formal bed and breakfast and give folks a little taste of like stuff we grow out of the garden, and things like that. Obviously you can't really serve wild game again in such a setting, but to have like kind of like foraged ingredients and some wild foraged items in the breakfast, and that is really exciting. So so that said, I'm busy doing that, and I don't really have the time to go out and hunt bear. But no, turkey most definitely. I wouldn't miss that.
That's awesome. Wow, what a great idea that is. Just like total field to table experience. I'm sure you could probably get some pigs or sheep or something too, just to make it a little,
Oh yeah, no, it's all part of it. Again, all in good time, and not the season for it now. But no, I mean that's the idea, right? Yeah, have a little retreat. Folks can come up and don't necessarily have to take part in like say the mentorship programs or the workshops that I do, but like just coming up, staying at a bed and breakfast. My wife's a massage therapist, so we've got massage, we've got our sauna, and our cold plunge. So be able to kind of add a little, forest therapy package onto your stay. It's cool. We're really looking forward to getting this bed and breakfast going this year. And I've got my little tiny cabin there, little 10x16 cabin as well to rent. So that's kind of the idea. So hopefully this year it's up and running.
Yeah, when do you plan on launching the bed and breakfast? Because I should.
So I mean, I guess May 24 weekend was my self-imposed date. I don't know whether or not I'll hit that, but that said, we do have some guests coming from Australia. Actually, some members of our church, they have friends from Australia that are coming, and they were nice enough to kind of say, "Oh, we know a bed and breakfast." So we trialed it last year with a few friends in that, and it was all good. I didn't burn the eggs and didn't burn the toast. So I gave it the quick trial run, but no, it's we've got a couple booked here this year as well already. So hope to have that up and running here this year.
Dude, what a fantastic idea! What a fantastic idea!
Thanks.
Well, listen, man. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and everything. We dabbled into quite a bit on this episode, and like there's like when I talk to people who would just like have that same passion, like I could talk to you all night about this sort of stuff. It's like it's amazing, like what when you can talk to somebody who shares the same passion as you do, and like I just think it's a very cool, unique thing that you're doing at your property, your wife too, like having a collaboration of both. It's awesome. But so where can people find you to start booking some stuff?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. No, thanks for having me on. It was great chatting and great to like I say, connect. I guess you could find us at you can find my website drshawnslade.com. I've got kind of a list of all services and programs there. We're actually going to have like a formal website for Elk and Acorn, which is our wilderness wellness center that we started here. And you can find us on Instagram at Elk and Acorn, or even I have Instagram as well. I post there some wild adventures and things like that, and all that sort of stuff. But if you're interested in any of the programs, definitely just reach out to me through the website or whatever way you find me there. But I appreciate it.
Perfect. Well, but thank you again, man, and thanks everybody for listening. Well, sign off. Bye, everybody.